Hello.
Hi, Mandy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your time.
Buddies?
Right, what we're going to do today, I'm glad that you've got your camera set up already, actually. That's really, really handy. So if you just make sure the sound is turned off on one of them, just while we have a chat. And then once we've gone through everything, we'll get you to set that up so that we can see Buddy. Is he there with you now?
It is. Don't know if you can see.
Oh, look at him. Oh, he's beautiful. I was so intrigued what he looked like after what you said about his breed being such a
Yeah,
mix.
I know. Yeah, he's so cute.
Oh, he's gorgeous. He looks so chilled there, which is a great way to start,
It,
rather than being zoomies
yeah,
or something.
yeah, he's been at my hold on, try to get this sorted. He's been at my brother's today and he's got a dog and they play wild, so I was like, that's actually quite good. I was actually going to message you to ask if maybe because I was meant to be home today working, and usually I was like, I can do my own routine, but I thought, you know what? It might be quite good if he's tired from there. I was just a bit like, it's not my normal setup, but he's pretty chilled, which is good.
It's going to be days where it's not his normal setup, isn't it? So it's good to see today maybe if there is a difference, he might do better because, he's had lots of activity today and he's a bit kind of more chilled, more tired, as it were.
Mhm.
Or he might not do as well as you'd hoped, or there might be no difference. So it's a good kind of test, I guess, isn't it,
Yeah,
today? Um, so yeah, so hi, do a little proper introduction. So I'm Josie, as you know, but I am a dog trainer, and this is my final assessment to become a separation anxiety specialist. So how today will work is that we'll kind of run through everything about Buddy, get to know him a little bit so that I've got all the information that I need. Then we will have a go at the exercises. So looking at his $100 kind of time, as it were, that you sent me. So that's changed slightly. So we will have a chat about that.
yeah,
We'll go through those warm-ups and exercises. Then we'll have a little bit of feedback about that, and then I can answer any questions at the end. Is that okay?
fab, yep.
Brilliant. Okay, so got your form here. I've gone through it prior to today. I've got a few questions around the things that you've mentioned. But I also want to get to know from without the form, your description of Buddy and how he came to be with you, what he's been like, and how potentially, because you said the separation anxiety has kind of been there since you got him, so whether there's been any changes and things like that. So, do you mind just giving me kind of an overview of what it's like and what Buddy has been like with you? And then I'll just pick up any questions that might be missing.
Overall, or specifically with his separation anxiety?
Generally, with this separation anxiety, if there's any other behaviours going on that you think could be related or anything like that, please tell me about those. Anything that you think is relevant.
Yep. So I got him um 2 years ago in October, I'm sure it is. So he's from Romania, so he's a rescue from Romania. So he was months when he came over. So when I first got him, I was working from home. So the first couple of weeks they give the advice to leave him in the house, just let him get used to smells and all that. So did that. And then I actually didn't really know anything about separation anxiety, never heard of it. Like I knew about like dogs maybe crying, more like FOMO, but never really actual separation anxiety. So it was just one day when I can't remember why, but I think he was down the stairs and I thought, you know, I'm just going to run up the stairs and do a workout. And for some reason, it must have been in my head when I was like, I'm just going to shut the door and just leave him on his own and just give him some alone time. Don't know why. I don't know if in the back of my mind I was like, I'll test him being on his own. I don't know. But anyway, I went up. It was like maybe like 10, 15 minutes later, and I didn't have any cameras. Now I've got like four. So I was like, something in my gut was like, go and check on him. So I came down the stairs and heart was racing, he was panicked, and I was like, what
Oh,
is this? Like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, that's
God.
like extreme. Like it's not like FOMO, that's more like what is that? So I felt like I was looking up for ages like what it was. And I feel like when you Google it and look things up,
Oh, yeah.
everyone's going and throw a treat and that. I was just like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
what
worries you so much as well, doesn't it? When you just, obviously, in that moment, you don't know and you want him to be okay. It can be really, really concerning.
look it up. Separation anxiety isn't actually quite isn't easy to find. It's not. because I feel like there's obviously everyone's a dog trainer online, so you're googling it and people are like, oh, do this, do that, crate train them, do blah blah blah, and I was just
Mm.
like, you're right, and I actually can't remember how I came across the page, but I started kind of trying them on. The one thing that I was a bit unsure about was I was like, when I leave and come back, do I give them a treat? Do I say well done? I don't know, because I felt like that was the one thing I was missing, seeing an actual real life example. And then I think I'd done it myself for a while. And then when I found a page, I was like, right, I'm just going to sign up. So I signed up to the Heroes. So
Yeah.
I've been properly doing that since January. And we actually did do quite well. So the way that my setup is, it's quite open plan here. So I've got my living room, and in the driveway is literally like, if you opened the window, you could probably touch my car. So it's right, the car's right there, driveway. And the first
Okay.
couple, I think I left the blind open, but then I was like, he's just going to sit there and watch me. So I shut the blinds. So I got
Brilliant.
up to, I think it was maybe like 7 minutes or something where, or maybe 3 or 4 minutes where I was just standing at the door and then coming in, and then I managed to sit in the car. I think we must have got up to like 10 minutes, and I thought, right, I could probably, I've jumped the gun a bit. So I was like, I could probably drive just up to, there's like a McDonald's 5 minutes away. So I was like, I could just drive there, burgle the car park and come back. So I did that, and I had him on the camera, and he was playing with his toys and stuff. And I was like, do you know what way I was like buzzing? I was like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is like leaving him. And then maybe by the time I got to the end of the estate, he was like howling, like worse than,
Oh,
and I was like, what the hell? I was like, we've done this before, how is he not? So I came back, and I just came in. I can remember just sitting down on the couch, and I was like, what else can I do? I was like, there's literally nothing. And then I was like texting my pal, and I was like, oh, duh. And I stood up and I looked at the window, and I'd left the blinds open. And I was like, oh my. So part of me was like, I'm quite glad that it was my fault. But another part of me was like, oh my God. So that was probably our first regression, because see, not ever since then. So after that, see if I even looked at the door, he would like, so he started kind of doing this behavior last night. He was doing it. He would literally jump up as if he was like trying to like hump my leg, but he's not a humper. It's like he was trying to latch onto something to pull me back, like he was
oh,
panicking. Don't leave.
okay. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so then I just went straight back down to door as a bore, just started doing that. And from then, I actually feel like he was so much more relaxed. Like, I feel like we got to a really good stage where he was, the way that he was in his sessions was basically this.
Oh, oh, that's
Just,
really, really good then. So you stripped it right back to the beginning, which is
yes.
perfect thing to do. So
Yeah.
that brought you from there back up to 3 or 4 minutes, was it?
Well, we got back up to maybe 10, and then I don't know what happened, and he started panicking again,
Mhm.
where he started doing this weird thing where he would go to the top. So I kind of noticed that he would be in the living room for the first couple of minutes, and then he would go to the top of the stairs, and he would lie at the top of the stairs, but he actually can't really see my car from the top of the stairs. It's like he was just waiting for the door, which is fine. I know that that's all fine. That's not anything. But what would actually happen shortly after that is he would come down the stairs, walk in the living room, and then start to whine. So I was a bit like, whenever he goes up the stairs, to me that was a sign that he was basically just like, I really wanted, like, he was basically waiting, and then after a few minutes waiting at the door, he would come down the stairs, and that's when he'd start to panic. So I feel like since then we've been like kind of dropping back and getting back up, and just not really had any like consistently good sessions. So I don't know if the days that maybe I'm at work, so he's at my mum's when I'm at work, which is, he's fine there, he's so relaxed, but I don't know if because I'm at work and I come home and I'm trying to fit a session in at night, it's just too much. I don't know, but basically last night we done one, so I took him a walk, so I took him like an off leash walk, and he was running, came back, done a couple of like puzzle treats, and then he actually seemed more hyper than usual, so I maybe should have just called it a day. But I was, so I don't know why I'm trying different things all the time, but I started doing warm-ups again, but I used to do no warm-ups. But
Okay.
doing last night when I was doing the warm-ups, the first one was okay, and he sometimes does this thing where if I sit down and go up again, if he's in the kitchen, I'll just hear, and he's like rushing to, not really rushing to me, sometimes just rushing to the door, and he will, when I go out, he's fine. So I'm a bit like, ugh, am I just, I don't know. But last night, for example, when I came back in from one of the sessions, and I walked from the door, I don't know if you can see, so from the door,
Yes. Yeah.
he kind of was like behind me because he was waiting at the door, and he jumped up and he was trying to grab like onto my leg. But
Okay.
then I sat down and I was like, right, I'm just going to call it a day. And then I was just like, let's just see how he does. So I just went out for like 2 or 3 minutes and he was fine. So I put a post on the page last night just to say, like, should I stop doing warm-ups, or is that me just trying to ignore a potential trigger? Or should I be fine if he's doing his durations? My phone's on 20%.
Well, if you need to plug it in, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go and grab a charger, obviously he's watching you now.
Yeah.
Well, he's not gone with you. That's good.
No, I think, see, when he's relaxed, he is very much like,
Yeah. He was totally chilled, wasn't he? So, did you get any responses in the group when you put your post up?
yeah, they were basically just saying what I thought they would say, to be honest with you. So try without warm-ups. It might be over arousal, but the thing is, I just don't think we're at the stage where I need to drop back down again to door as a bore, because I actually don't think that, I just don't know. I feel like I'm maybe missing something. I just don't think that door as the bore is the answer, because we've already dropped back down to that like maybe 3 times, and I'm like, I'm unsure. I'm hoping that maybe doing no warm ups, he might be fine.
Yeah. Well, we can see how it goes today. So, the way that we normally work it is when you've done door is a bore, you start doing your time with the door itself. So, it might be a matter of seconds. And up until 2 minutes, we increase the time each time if we're pushing that time to a longer one by 10
Yeah,
to 20%, because it's such a small amount of time, you have to push it by a bit more of a bigger percentage. And then once we get to 2 minutes, you increase it by 5 to 10% of that time each time. Now, what might be happening is that your next one that you've been given has been bumped, pushed up by 10%, and actually it might have been better at 5% or something like that. So the target duration, we would need to look at how we're increasing that. The
use,
sorry?
so I use the Heroes app, the Be Right
Yes.
Back, and I've
Mm.
tried to be a lot more stricter. I feel like when I first started using it, I was like really wanting to see progress. So I maybe wasn't as strict with it. Actually, that wasn't really an ace. Maybe it was more an okay. So I feel like I'm more strict now, where I'm like, that actually wasn't a complete ace. It was actually okay, because I've went back and started from the start again, and I'm like, let's not do that again.
Yeah, so whether it was a good session or not, and you've
Yeah,
been kind of, yeah, more precise with that. I get that, and I completely get that you want to, like, yeah, you did fine, let's go on to the next one. But what we might find is that
it's
rush
pushed.
of it is detrimental effectively to the progress. So we're better doing small, tiny increments, so that when we're desensitizing and habituating him to it, that he doesn't even notice that we're increasing that time. Whereas if we increase it dramatically in his perspective, it might be a matter of seconds and nothing to us, but to him it's huge.
Mhm.
So the less noticeable we can make it, the more likely he is to be successful.
Yeah,
We're just tweaking that tiny bit time and time again. With regards to the warm-ups, we tend to do, when you're on this kind of time frame of the 2 minute target duration, we do 5 to 8 warm-ups. Now, today I have planned 8, but we can reduce that. So we can have a talk about that when we come to do it, and see what we feel would be best. And we can even adjust the times if we need to. But what I would like to do is just go back and get a little bit more information from you around Buddy himself, and then we can go into the plan for today.
yeah, yeah,
So, just to double check, so you've had him nearly 2 years, because he came when he was about 6 months,
yeah,
and you said that, and you've explained that the separation anxiety was kind of evident from when
yeah.
you got in, and that particular incident that you described. Do you know of anything that happened prior to him coming to you? Did anything happen on his kind of maybe journey from Romania that you're aware of? Anything like that could be contributing to it potentially?
He'd never been in a home, so he was basically on a street with like the other like up. So when the
Okay.
picture of him that initially that I seen, he was pretty small. So I think they got him quite young, and it's one of the kill shelters in Romania. So they're basically just
Right.
out that shelter all the time. So, and you could tell he'd never been in a house, because he didn't even know how to go up the stairs, didn't know a couch, a bed, the car,
Mhm.
like everything was new to him. He
Yeah.
came over Romania in a crate for 4 days, and I don't think they let him out once because there was so many of them. I don't think that it just wasn't safe, and because they're all flight risks, they didn't want to. They didn't even have like collars or like leashes for them. So
Mm.
I don't think they would, because I think what they did is they just put like bowls and stuff in, and then like puppy pads.
Mm.
So he's fine with the crate, to be honest with you. Like I've crate trained him, and he is okay with it. He
Yeah.
doesn't like it. I don't know if it's separate. It's probably a combination of separation anxiety or the crate itself. But like if I'm in the room and he's in the crate, he will go for a deep sleep, because I actually initially tried crate training him while I was leaving, and he did okay if it was covered. So I don't think he's not got any issues with crates. So I don't think so. I don't know if any of that would have impacted it. I don't know. He did used to be quite bad if I took him to like my mum's or my brother's and I left. He would howl and scream like he was being
Mm.
murdered. He's so much better now, and I think that's just been, he now knows. So I think I kind of noticed that. See, if I went to my mum's and in the morning going to work and I picked up my bag, he kind of lay down and you could tell he was a bit like, okay,
Yeah.
this is yeah. And my mum's kind of started to like, not on purpose, but whenever I leave, she's like, bye bye, bye bye. And now she says it to him so that he knows. So I've been trying to do that as well. So I took him to my brother's this morning, and he used to, if I tried to go out the door, he would run and try and come with me. But this morning I was like, right, bye bye. And he just stood and looked at me as if, well, on you go. So
Yeah,
he's
those
dead.
cues are
Yeah,
communicating to what's going on, aren't they? And that's lovely
yeah,
that you're kind of giving that him that information rather than just kind of shocking him that all of a sudden you've left.
yeah. So he's
Um,
got better at that. Like, even if I went to my brother's and tried to go in the toilet, he'd be on the other side of the toilet screaming.
oh bless him, yeah.
He has come a long way with all that stuff. I'm just like,
Mm.
let me leave you.
Yeah, and when you think about, him coming over from Romania and you saying that he was potentially so young when he did do all the traveling and he was with lots of other dogs. So, potentially never had a moment alone in his life.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's very traumatic, all that journey and all of those changes and experiences. So, all of this or none of it, we don't know, could have had an impact on everything that's going on for him. Um, does he have any other health issues other than this anxiety?
I would
No
say
physical health issues or anything?
not any physical. No, I would say like he is a pretty nervous dog in general. Like he's
Okay.
kind of that as well. So he's just quite. I would don't know. I don't want to say things that I'm putting on him, but I would say that he's quite sensitive to like noises. Well, he definitely used to be. So things like a car door slamming shut. It's obviously just all these things he's not used to. So he's a lot better now, and I think that's more. I've learned a lot more about his body language. So there's a dog behaviourist that lives not far from me, and we just went a walk one day. I was like, "Ah, can we just go? Because I just want to know how to help him, because
I
if
love that.
he's a wee bit nervous, I'm just like, what do I do? So she said that he's quite good at, he looks at me quite a lot for like
Yeah.
reassurance. Like she was saying, for example, we were walking towards like a group of men. He doesn't like men. He's quite sexist. The guys that he knows, like he loves them. Like people he knows he loves, but he's quite apprehensive of people in general, which is fine. But we were walking towards these men, and he was looking at me, and she was saying, he's looking at you to get some help, and what you're doing, not in a bad way. She's like, you're basically ignoring it and pushing him into a situation he's not comfortable with. So going out with her, and then she actually suggested I go up to this like communications thing where they basically let your dogs meet each other through a fence, and you can watch the body language and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that all my friends say that, like we'll go a walk and Buddy will literally like an ear will twitch and I'm like, right, he's nervous, give me him over here. And they're like, he didn't even do anything. I'm like, he did.
Yeah.
So
You're spotting all those signs now,
yeah,
which I
and
love that you've done all that
yeah,
because so many people don't understand the but oh, sorry, I
exactly.
think your sound went then.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I think you were talking, I couldn't hear you. Um, But it's so nice to hear someone like yourself that's done those things to understand their dog better. So many people don't do that or don't even realize the things that they're missing that their dog is trying to tell them. So that's amazing because that's going to really help. What was your, could you just say something for me? I think the sound might have gone.
Is that me now?
Oh, you're back. Yeah, I could see you moving and I couldn't hear you again. Sorry. But yeah, so well done to you because that is incredible that you're doing that for him and you're obviously trying everything to make his life more positive. Um, we'll come back actually to the body language in a minute because I think that's something that will be really useful with regards to what we do today. Just a couple more questions. So, the daily exercise and enrichment that you're doing is all absolutely brilliant. Again, I love that you're doing that with him. Um, the last thing was to do with the medication. So, you said that he's been on fluoxetine daily.
Yep.
Excuse me, sorry, I've had a bit of a cough recently. Mhm. It was on 20 milligrams. And then when you filled the form in, you'd had the discussion with the vet and you'd upped it to 30 milligrams. So I was just wondering, is he still on that dosage? How's he been since? Have you noticed any changes? Anything around the fluoxetine really that you could tell me?
Not really. So he's still on the dosage. I don't know if the fluoxetine has helped him with the separation anxiety at all, really. It's more just
Okay.
been a training that's helped him. It's definitely helped him just in general with his anxiety. So now if we're out a walk and so the other day we went out and there's like a quad bike and usually he would just flee. He would be conflicted because he would want to get away, but he's very good at checking him and mean staying with me. So he'll want to stay with me, but he'll also want to run away. So he'll run away to a certain point, but always make sure he can see me. Um, so the other day when we seen the quad bike, I just said to him, like, just sit down and wait, and then the quad bike went past. So I think it's 100% helped him just in general day to day with his anxiety. But
Amazing.
with the separation anxiety, I don't think so. So the reason I phoned my vet was because I was like, I actually don't know what else I can do. I was like, either I up the meds and see what it does, or I pay a trainer. And she was like, you don't need a trainer. She was like, you know what, like the training you're doing is fine. She was like, so let's just up his meds and see and just give him the best starting point. So it's actually been, I'd say it's maybe been a month. So I don't know if that's enough time for the increase to kick in. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he's going to keep him on it. I'm going to pick up new meds on Saturday, which will be 3 months worth. And I'm going to
Right.
try and
Yeah. So your vet can obviously is the one to talk about the medication and things, but your fluoxetine type meds to help with anxiety do sometimes take a bit longer to kick in because on the other side you've got like the pain meds that the vets can prescribe, and that's kind of for immediate effect. So your vet is definitely someone to talk about how long it would take to kind of be in their system, when to kind of potentially notice some changes. But it sounds like you've already noticed some, and yes, it might not be directly helping the separation anxiety, but it sounds like it's helping him in general, which in turn could well be helping. Maybe it needs more time. But yeah, you've got the 3 months, so you'll have 4 months, I guess, to kind of assess it and keep an eye on that. Brilliant. So that was kind of my questions generally from your form to make sure that we've covered everything. Um, what I would like to ask you, so you know your dog best, you know your dog better than anyone else. So, are there any particular indicators that you notice other than the ones you said about like running up the stairs, and kind of running to the door and grabbing you? Have you noticed anything else, maybe something more subtle that he would do to say, no, I'm not happy? Especially because we're on camera, I can keep an eye out for these as well when you go out of the door.
not really because it doesn't really do. I would say it's more when he is a bit unsettled. I've probably never let it get to the stage where he's that bad.
Okay, yeah, that's good. We don't want him to be over threshold, definitely.
More so when he just starts to be a bit unsettled. So what he'll tend to do is it's as if he's like, he obviously knows I'm outside the front door, but it's as if he's like
Mm.
kind of checking, oh, she could be somewhere else. So what he used to tend to do was he would be in the living room somewhere lying down, and he'd maybe give that a minute or two, and then he would go up the stairs into the living room, the bedroom. So I've got a camera in the bedroom as well that like rotates. And what he tends to do is he'll go up there and he'll go to the, so my windows are really low, so if he stands at the window he can see out, and he'll stand at the window and he can't really see much. I don't think he could maybe see the edge of my car. He'll go up there and he'll kind of stand for like a few seconds. Then he'll go to the top of the stairs so I can kind of see the top of the stairs from the camera in the bedroom, and he'll just flop down. And I think when he's lying there, if I were to look at him in isolation, he looks relaxed. He's paused, head down, relaxed ears, fine. But after that, he'll tend to come down the stairs and he'll maybe walk into the kitchen, walk back, and then nine times out of 10 there might come a whine. And when I say nine times out of 10, I mean 9 times out of 10 of the times it's happened, maybe like 3 or 4 times. So it's because I've kind of noticed it, I'll probably come in begrudgingly. I'm like, you've got 1 more minute, but I'm like, I'll just go back in. But
It's
to
the
me,
right
that,
thing to do. You know, if you see those signs or you're not sure, you're best
yeah,
to cut it early rather than push him and it be a bad experience for them because we've always wanted to be positive. You
that,
know, wandering around is okay. Even going to the door is okay.
yep,
But we're looking for those other bits of body language that, you know, you're well aware of from the course and things. You know, are the ears back? Where's the tail? You know, what are we seeing from him? So we'll keep an eye on that today. So if we start seeing him going around the house, obviously with the cameras, I won't be able to see if he goes upstairs. Um, just a thought, are you able to block off any access to the windows upstairs or you know, have you got blinds on them? Is there any way of stopping him being able to look out of them?
so when he looks outside the upstairs window, he can't really see much. So I don't think
Okay.
that what I thought he would be able to do was my front door's got like a glass pane down the side, but I've now got the what's that called? Like the thing that basically makes you not be able to see out at the
Oh,
film.
right.
So
Yes.
that
Oh, brilliant. Good.
so that he can sit and stare out. So when he's at the top of the stairs, he I don't think he can see outside. I think that's more him just waiting.
Right.
Um
Okay. Yeah, I was just
because
thinking if we could see you stood there, we obviously don't want that.
no,
And with the
when
door as well, just beware because we've had I've done some sessions where people have got the same film on the window. You can sometimes, I don't know what yours is like, but you can see shadows. So it might be worth if it's just on one side of the door when you go out, kind of book yourself out the way a little bit so there's no kind of shadow of you or something outside the window. Um, yeah, so if he can't see you out of those upstairs windows, if he runs up, that's fine. The only thing is, I won't be able to tell you whether he looks unsure or anything like that. So hopefully he'll stay in the lounge and he'll stay downstairs, which is what he sometimes does. And we'll just assess it as we go. If we hear anything from him, you know, we hear a whine or a bark or anything, we'll get you to come straight back in. Um, so just to double check, are you the only person that lives in the house?
yes.
Yes, okay, brilliant. I was just going to say, you know, is he primarily attached to one person or anything like that? But that's fine. So it is just yourself. And
Yep.
it must be challenging, you know. Luckily, you've got your mum and your brother, but it must be challenging for you. And I do feel for you in that sense. Um, right. So in terms of the training that you do you seem to have a routine around it? Obviously, you know, you've got after work and things like that, or when you're working from home, do you do it more? What does that training look like through a week for you?
So I go to the office 3 days a week. So I've got a scenario in the app which is nighttime because that's usually when I can do it. So usually when I pick him up, I'll take him a walk to kind of tire him out. Then I'll come home, make my dinner, and then I'll do training.
Yeah,
So usually the routine. If I'm working from home, I'll probably try and do similar. Um, there might be sometimes maybe if I'll take him like a morning walk or a lunchtime walk, and I think he looks. I feel like I wait for him to be ready for a session because he likes to lie upstairs in the bed. So if he's up there relaxing, I'm a bit like I feel like if I then open a door to go out, he then jumps up and he runs, and I'm like I don't know
yeah,
if that's the best way to do it or I don't know. So I feel like I'm very much waiting on him to lie down and look relaxed before I do it. And once we're in at night and have a walk and I've had my dinner and stuff like that, that's usually when he tends to start to wind down. Like relaxes all day, to be fair. But if I'm up the stairs working, he'll be up the stairs lying in the bed in another room.
yeah.
So long story short, usually my routine is after work.
Yeah, so that's Bill. So we're kind of sticking to that similar routine tonight then, which is hopefully going to work in his favour to set him up for success. Um, Brilliant that you kind of taken the lead from him, going, you know, does he look like he's in the mood today? Maybe he's had a busy day, maybe it's not the right day. You know, definitely go with your gut on that and listen to him and the signs that he's giving you. In terms of kind of when he is relaxed, yes, if he's relaxed on the sofa and he's chilling, good time to do it. But if he's asleep, probably not the best time to do it because if you then get up and go, could panic him. Or if you go, and he doesn't realise until you're outside, he could then panic and it could just, you know,
Yeah.
set him back a little bit. So make sure he is awake when you're doing it. If he's relaxed, brilliant, but make sure those eyes are open,
Yeah.
so we don't give him a little shock that you've disappeared. Right, okay. So, in terms of the setup for seeing this, where will the camera be that I'm going to be watching while you're out?
So this is what I'm not sure about, because one of my issues is my camera usually sits, so where the laptop is, that's where the camera will be, because I used to have a camera over in the corner, because he would usually just lie on the floor on the sofa. No, lie on
Okay.
the face in that corner so I could see his face. Now, if he sometimes goes over to the door and lies down, I actually can't really see his face, but I can see enough of him to see that he's like ears are down. I can't really see when he's at the if he's so if he lies at the door, he might lie kind of along the way where I can't see his face because his face is kind of
Okay.
covered over. So that's
Yeah.
one where I can't actually see if he's maybe lying there and doing like the subtle things. Like I can't. He's got quite a dark face anyway, so his eyes are quite dark. So maybe seeing if he's doing anything there or if he's like lip licking. I don't
Mm.
think I've got a setup that I can do to have it that way to capture it all, unless I
Yeah,
had like
it's sometimes challenging, isn't it, with the shapes of rooms and things. We can
moving. So
only do what we can do, can't we? And try and set it up as best we can. So if we can see most of him or a lot of him, it doesn't matter if we miss the tail or we miss something subtle. As long as we can see most of him and we can hear him, I think we'll be all right. And we can always just be a bit more cautious. So would you be able to set up the laptop where you think we're better? Because where he is now, I can't see him, but I can see the door. So are you able to take it back a little bit?
so he's literally right there.
Oh,
So
I'm
I
just
don't
wondering, could the laptop go on the floor maybe? Or
suppose it could.
he wouldn't go on it, would he? Don't want to
No,
break your laptop.
I mean that's fine. It could possibly sit here.
Yeah, that works really well. Oh, that's even better.
That, and then if he jumps, it would only be if he jumps up on the couch, which he might do.
Well, if he jumps up where he is now, I can see him. The light's a bit difficult.
I
But if
could
he
put the
goes on the other part of the sofa, I wouldn't see
so
him.
he might actually lie there.
Yeah, but if he's lying on there and he's happy and settled, then we're not worrying. Um,
He
so
potentially
we,
could go to the door. That's the only thing. I'm wondering if I can't. Can I share my? No. Can you change it so that I can share as well, or does it let me do that? I'm just
I will have
wondering,
a look.
because if I can share my mobile, I can just go to my cameras, which rotate.
Yeah. Okay,
I just
try it now. I've clicked something that might let you do it.
okay. So share screen. Let's see if this works. Right, start. Because then what I can do is right. You just let me know if you can still
Yeah,
hear me.
it's coming up. I don't know whether it'll come up on my recording of the session, but we can definitely give it a try.
So can you see this cam? Can you see that now?
I can, yes.
It means that I can then also zoom in.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no, that's great.
So we could maybe
So we just need to make sure the sound out from us is off. So he can't hear on that, can he?
not on that camera.
Okay. It's something is echoing, so I don't know whether it's your phone or the laptop.
I think it's the camera.
Okay.
So can you still hear me now?
I can hear you and there's no echo now, so that's brilliant.
So I'm
Okay. So that setup is perfect. Um, so we're working with you were doing the 2 minutes, so we're working up to 2 minutes 12 seconds today. Now, oh, something's popped up on your screen. There we go. So as we said earlier, sometimes you've done no warm-up, sometimes you have done some, and you're not sure which way to go with that. So when we're doing 2 minutes plus, we tend to go with between 5 and 8 warm-ups. So I had planned for 8. My only thought is whether because you've sometimes done none, sometimes done some, we go lower on the warm-ups, but we still do them. So maybe do the 5 and see how he gets on. How would you feel about that? Oh, I can't
Regardless
hear
if
you. Hello? Can you hear me, Mandy? Can you hear me now? Hello?
can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. Hi. Um, so do you want to go back to using the laptop or do you want to put your camera on when we go to do it?
I think the camera would work better. I'm just trying to think how.
My only thought is if you do that, what are you going to take outside with you when you go out? Are you going to take the laptop with you so you can hear me? Because if
Well, I
you were
can take my
leaving the
phone.
laptop, you would then take your phone with you so I
Well,
could
I can
talk.
take my phone because I can still hear you when I'm sharing my screen. I can still hear you.
Right. Okay, brilliant.
But I'm
So
just
you
trying to
were,
think
I wouldn't
if
thought you were hearing me through the laptop, so that's brilliant. If that works, let's do that. Um, okay. So are you happy with trying the 5 warm-ups?
yeah, we can try.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. So I'll take the last few off. As I said, we're working up to 2 minutes, 12 seconds. So when we're doing warm-ups, how long have you left between doing them when you were on the times that you were putting them in place?
Maybe 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, real. So let's do that then.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do your first warm-up, you're gonna come back in, do something whether you would normally just sit on the sofa for 30 seconds or you would potter around, do what you would normally do, and then we'll send you out for the next one. So I will time it on my phone for you. It's not very long for these warm-ups.
Okay.
So, you could also count in your head if you wanted. What I would
Mhm.
suggest is when you go outside, try not to talk. So some people might count aloud or you might try and talk to me. But if he can hear you outside, that might unsettle him. So try, unless you really need to say something, it's sometimes best to just stay quiet when you're outside. Again, you'll be able to see him as well as me in this setup, which is brilliant. So any indication that you see that maybe I haven't picked up or can't see very well on here, please do say and go back in. So do you feel ready to go? He's not asleep, is he now?
He's not, the thing is with him, he's very relaxed. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see, but he's not like fully asleep.
Okay, that's fine. If he's relaxed and as you get up to go towards the door, just keep a little eye on him and make sure he is awake. So he'll probably kind of just open at least one eye
Oh,
to kind of
yeah.
spy where
Mhm.
you're going.
Okay.
Okay. So for the first one, we're going to do 5 seconds. So nice and short. Keep it, as casual as you can. Do what you would normally do. Go out 5 seconds, come back in and wait your 30 seconds and we'll send you out for the next one.
Okay.
Okay, brilliant. So whenever you're ready, if you just head on out. Okay, come back in. Can you just check? He is awake, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he
It's
didn't
because
move
his
an inch.
eyes are so dark.
So that was brilliant. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Well, that was really, really successful. So well done. So that was your first warm up, went really well. Your next one is going to be 10 seconds. So when you're ready, wait as long as you feel you need to, go back out and we'll count to 10 seconds. So I'll time it just to make sure that we're really precise with these times. Okay, starting your 10 seconds. You still look super chilled. Okay, come back in. I can't really see, as you said, he's got a dark face, his facial kind of expressions very easily, but do you notice anything on him when you come back in?
No, he's literally just like a wee side eye. Like,
I see.
listen,
Just checking where you are. But still, he's super chill. He's not got up, he's not followed you, he's not grabbed your leg like you mentioned he can do. So this is all super positive. So well done. So the next one's going to be 15 seconds. So again, whenever you're ready, let's go for the 15. Okay, come back in. Can just see him very, very faintly, giving you that little
yeah,
look.
it's like a wee side eye.
Yeah. So again, just so chilled, not bothered whatsoever. So it's nice and casual. He's like, cool, we're doing this again. It's not so scary. And these are banking those really positive experiences. So small increments are going to be the best way to get that success with him. So the next one is going to be 7 seconds whenever you're ready. Okay, go back in. Yep, definitely still awake, is he?
Yep. I wonder if I put a light on if it would help.
Oh, that's much better. Yes, thank you. Okay, so the last warm up, if we're sticking to the 5, and he's doing really well, so let's go for 20 seconds and I will time it for you. So whenever you are ready, if I'm looking down, by the way, this is me sorting my timer out. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Okay, starting there. Come back in. Okay, so I heard a noise then. I wasn't sure whether it was a noise kind of outside or something like that. Did you hear it?
That was cars outside, so to be fair, there is usually music on or something, but he actually did okay, I think. He used to be quite reactive to noises like that, but
Yeah, he was just inquisitive. Like he
yeah.
sat up
Hmm.
quite kind of quickly, but he didn't get up. His
No.
ears moved and he
Mhm.
looked, but then he kind of went, okay, we're cool,
Yeah.
can manage
Mhm.
this. So it's just brilliant. 20 seconds he did when, you were saying he was getting to the point of clutching onto you, as it were. So this is so positive. Um, what I'm thinking is because he did sit up then and was more alert to something, let's just give him a little bit of a longer kind of gap between it, let him settle down again, and then we'll go for your target duration. Does that sound okay? Oh, look at him stretching. Oh, I wish I could come for a cuddle.
No, he's so cute.
Oh,
This is not what
good.
he's known as well. Like, ugh, I'm obviously grateful that he's doing well, but yeah, I feel, this is the thing with him. I feel like, see, when I record him, he smashes it.
always the way, isn't it? You want someone to see what it's like in reality.
Hmm.
You know, what I would say is if you think he's kind of struggling, what has been the setup that has made today so successful? And actually he has had a really busy day. So maybe exerting more of that energy is a way to give him those positive, set him up for success kind of sessions. And we can pinpoint what went on. So it might be worth, not everyone likes doing it, but maybe keeping a diary of, yes, you've got obviously the app, but keeping a diary of what your duration was. Did you do warm-ups? How many did you do? Did it go well? And maybe what he'd done that day. And you might start to see a pattern, and then you can kind of hone in on what does set him up for success prior to the exercise in the evening. Um, it might just be that there is no pattern, but sometimes it's worth trying to see if there is. Um, but he's just doing so well today. So it might be that you want to kind of maybe adjust your warm-ups, or be consistent doing those warm-ups instead of dropping them completely. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what's helping him, because we started off with a really, really easy 5 seconds and he smashed it. But yeah, are you ready to give the 2 minutes 12 a go?
Yeah,
Can you
just
hear
ready.
any noises outside just before we kind of leave him?
Um,
There's no one doing cars and driving away or anything, just to make sure. I love it, going on your Ring camera.
just to make sure. I don't think so. I think that was just, it's pretty quiet. I think that was just them coming home.
Yeah.
So it
Brilliant.
looks okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to check, because maybe if the neighbours are coming out or something like that, you might say hello to you and then it goes to pot.
Yeah, yep.
So sometimes just good to check before you go out, especially for the target. Okay, so when you're ready, I will start my timer as soon as you close that door.
Okay.
Okay, I've started that timer. Thirty seconds. That's 1 minute. So chilled. Can't see very well, but is he still awake? He was awake when you left, wasn't he?
Yeah, he won't fall asleep that easy.
Cool. You're nearly there. It's 2 minutes. All right, go back in. He smashed it. Well done. Okay, so he's licking his lips a little bit and yawning. Oh yeah, he's really licking.
So
This is the when you
he does tend to do that, to be fair, if he's sleeping. or if he's like about to sleep, because you can see that he's totally like trying to go back to sleep. So
Yeah.
to me, I mean, you can obviously tell me otherwise, but to me, that licking is more like dry mouth from about to nap, I
Mm.
think.
Yeah, he
But
definitely wasn't asleep when you went out, was he? So, um, he's getting
it
used
might
to
have been,
getting settling down, isn't he?
yeah,
Um,
like it might have
and
been
then-
trying, but he's not, he's alert all the time. So see, as much as he'll be up the stairs and he will be lying down very, very relaxed, if I get up, he needs to see. So he definitely, I would be highly doubtful that he was fully sleeping there. More
but
maybe fighting sleep because he's so tired.
yeah, and he kind of wants to know what's going on. But okay, so the lip licking and the yawning and things, it's all contextual. So with the body language, we look at the whole dog and
Hmm.
what's going on, and his body language was very, very relaxed
Yeah.
otherwise. And you know him better than anyone else. So if for him that's very normal when he's kind of tired, getting ready to
Hmm.
sleep or waking up from a sleep, then that is what it will be. It will be exactly that. Whereas if that wasn't kind of normal for him and he started doing it, then I'd be like, right, okay, he's showing us that maybe he was a little bit unsure about that. But at the same time, while you were out, he was actually fine. It was when you came back in.
Yeah.
So, he did amazing then. I have absolutely no worries that he could do, a push on this one and go to the next target. How do you feel? How do you feel that went?
Do you know what? I'm so happy that he done well, but at the same time, I'm like that this hasn't been the way that he's been.
Yeah, typical.
So it's obviously good, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if it's like what you were saying earlier on about it's maybe he's obviously been tired, so he's been playing with Luna all day, running in the garden. He's obviously been over at my brother's, and he lives with his fiance and he loves them, so he's obviously had a lot of like enrichment mentally and physically today. Like I didn't even have to take him a walk when I picked him up because I knew that, well, one, I didn't have much time, and then I knew that he'd be tired anyway. So I don't know. When I'm at work, he's at my mum's, and he basically just relaxes all day, which is obviously good. So I don't know if it's worth me maybe getting her to do something with him. The thing with my mum is she's not comfortable walking him because she's just. I think it's because he's such a wee precious boy. She's like, she's just a bit too. It's too much responsibility for her in case something happens, like because he is quite a wee scarper, or something might spook him. I think so she wouldn't walk him. So I'm trying to think if maybe I could get like one of the days, maybe to get a dog walker to come to maybe tire him out a bit and then get her to do more like mental enrichment, like doing games and stuff, so that when I go to pick him up, he is a bit more tired. But I think I'll
Yeah.
definitely set a diary because this is crazy how he's literally not got up once. And to be fair, this is the way he used to be before. I don't know if as well because I've been, I was saying that in one of the posts in the group as well. I was like, I feel like I've been very much like work, come home, walk him, eat. It's been very mechanical, and I'm like, I just want to get the training done because I want to see progress. So I don't know if I just need to take a step back as well and just be like, I don't know, just trying too much. But I mean, this is, see if he was like this all the time, he would smash it.
Yeah, he really would. But with regards to, you know, coming home, working, trying to get it done, it's completely normal. Everybody wants to see progress, and see their dog be successful, and also for you to get some freedom back. Um, but sometimes life does get in the way, and that can't be helped. If you are tired one night, don't feel the pressure to do it. Or if you come home and think, actually, I don't think he's in the mood, you don't have to do it. The more you practice it is, the better, as long as those scenarios are going to be positive ones and
Yeah.
positive things for him to bank in terms of that was a great experience or that was fine. It might not, excuse me, sorry, it might never be great, but he tolerated it and he was chilled about it, so that's okay. In terms of when he's with your mum, which is great that you've got her because you're sharing that love and you've got someone else who he trusts and is happy with,
Yep.
um, and it gives you that freedom, doesn't it? But there's lots of things that she could do. So, in terms of being unable to walk him, there's other things that she could do. So, you could have you ever heard of a foraging box?
Yeah, so I've got like, yeah, I've probably slacked on it quite a bit to be fair, but we do have the snuffle mats, the boxes. We've got, so he only eats his meals out of the like treat puzzles. So he
Yes.
actually doesn't eat out of a bowl anymore. Like he actually waits for his puzzle, but he's
Amazing.
probably
Does he enjoy
mastered it that
them?
he knows fine well how to use them. So maybe I
Mm.
should just be more organised. I think because he relaxes so much at my mum's, I seen that as a good thing, and it obviously is a good thing that because my
Yeah.
worry for him when he's at the house with me is that he's always kind of alert to. He doesn't follow me as much as he would, but my worry is that he never really gets a fully deep sleep because dogs should sleep quite a lot during the day, should they? So as
Yeah.
much as he will be relaxing like this, if I were to get up and go upstairs, he would very much be like, sometimes he would maybe lie there for a minute or two, be like, is it worth it to go? But he's obviously still awake. So I think I maybe just be more prepared on the days that I'm going to train and maybe like get two or three things because we've done a man's trailing course as well that he was quite
Oh,
okay with. So
amazing.
she could even do
Yeah.
that in the garden, like just like putting things out in the garden, hiding it and telling me to go find it. So
Yeah,
I probably
definitely.
just need
That'd
to be
be
a bit more
amazing.
prepped. It's probably the prep. And I think as well, when I'm coming home and I'm maybe a bit stressed, he obviously picks up on that as well if I'm stressed and walking out the door. So I feel like when I say it out loud, it makes total sense. And then when I'm doing it, I'm like, why is this not working? I know fine well why it's not working. It's
But
me.
sometimes it's hard to see it from an outsider's point of view when you're
Yeah.
living it, isn't it? So, you know, definitely talk it through with people, utilize the heroes group. And things, in terms of like planning, things like making a load of licky mats or Kongs and sticking them in the freezer so they just ready to grab and go as and when. And you could drop those off at your mum's or even get her to do some and keep them in
Yeah.
her freezer so she's got them.
Yep.
Maybe get some to just leave at her house so that you don't have to remember to pick them up and take them and bring them back and all of that each time.
Yeah.
Um, but you will get there with him. You're really committed to it, and we can, I
That's
can
the
see
thing.
that
Like,
today.
yeah, when I see this, I do know that he can do it because last
Yeah,
night I was like, oh, I'll just give up. But then I know that, well, I don't really have an option to give up because it's like I can't. So when I see this, I'm like, I know that he can do it. It's just that he's never done it. So obviously it is new to him. But
yeah. And it's getting
yeah,
that consistency, isn't it, to kind of back up that he can do it and for you
yeah,
to see,
yeah,
right, we can do it. So yeah, you will get there. Just take it slow. Slow and steady is much better.
hmm,
Um, so as well as practicing, these the warm-ups and your target durations, even though you felt door as a bore isn't doing much, it's still a really useful exercise to incorporate just because the door remains completely boring.
yeah,
And it just kind of affirms that that is, a non-issue kind of thing. So it's definitely worth doing, even if you feel maybe he's not up to you going out today, he's not in the mood or whatever it is. Just do a bit of door and sabor instead if you
yeah,
want to,
hmm,
or teach him to stay on a mat or
hmm,
teach him to do anything, give him some stimulation instead of doing that if you want to. It doesn't always have to be door as a bore or anything, but they're the things that are gonna really help. It's all about setting those solid foundations to then build upon. So, you've both done brilliantly. Do you have any questions for me at all?
no, I feel like he absolutely smashed that.
Totally. Yeah.
He actually could not have done any better apart from just turning a wee bit so we could see his face.
Yeah, I know. And he got up to look at the car. It wasn't even to look at you.
No, does not care. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's one of those where see when I do leave my mum's or wherever I take him, when I leave the house, I'm like, how rude. But then I'm like, I don't want him to care. But it's also a bit like I'm like, well, bye.
Yeah. And it'd be good to know, I don't know whether you do know what he's like at your mum's. Does he follow your mum round?
She said that he's not. I think for him, it totally just depends. He loves cheese, so she's very cheese happy. So I think part of it is if she goes in, so they've got a routine. So in the morning when I leave, she'll get up at some point to give him his meds. And then what she'll do is she always gives him some cheese, or if she's making something with cheese, he always gets a bit. Or if he's in the garden and she wants him to come in, she'll like tap the counter and he'll come running for cheese. So part of it's probably because he's like, oh, I might get some, but she says that if he's lying there and he's very chilled, like she'll send me pictures and he's literally on his back with his legs in there, so chilled. So if she were to get up, then I doubt he would follow her. I think it just depends how he's feeling, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's following as like a, oh my god, where are you going? It's more a
Yeah.
curiosity thing now. Whereas previously it might have been that he was following her to be like, oh my god, where are you going?
Yeah. So
Um,
it's slightly different to what he's like with you at home, where he is a bit more restless and alert to what's
yeah,
going
like I
on.
think even like when we're in the house, I wouldn't actually say that he's following me now for like panicking. Like sometimes when I'm in the upstairs working and he's lying in the bed, I can see him looking at me when I'm walking down the stairs and he's a bit like, hmm, like he's not like jumping up straight away. He's kind of looking and analysing, being like, is it worth it? Or if I go down the stairs, it'll maybe take him like a minute or two before he comes. Like I don't know if that's normal dog behaviour or if that, but at the same time, I don't actually know how you would fix that because I did think for a while I was like, should I give him like actual structured nap times in his crate? But then he doesn't do well in his crate when I'm not in the same room. So I'm
Yeah.
like, how would I get him to just completely shut down and actually go for a deep nap? And I think the
Mm.
answer is I should just stay still and let him nap. But because I put it on the heroes page and someone was like, I don't understand why you would do that. And I'm like, because I want him to have a sleep. Like, I th
Yeah.
that's why I was like, maybe he's not getting enough sleep. So he's not like, he's actually quite stressed and he's not been able to decompress because he's not sleeping enough. But he quite clearly is all right.
The thing is with sleep, so when they are puppies, we do tend to be like, oh, they really need to go and have sleep, they need that power nap to kind of recharge and things.
Yeah.
As older dogs, it's not quite as you need to put them down for a nap, as it were. But I completely understand your thinking in terms of, he's not getting that solid restorative sleep.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think
he's obviously
especially if
getting
I'm
it at your
into,
mum's house, and he will catch up on it where he can. If you're sat watching TV, maybe he'll catch a few bits here and a few bits
yeah,
there. And
yeah.
overnight, he'll probably go into a deep sleep to kind of make up for it.
Oh, he
Um,
does. Because I had an app to like record. Because I was like, I wonder if I sleep talk, and then all I could hear in the it was like the wee bits in the app, and it was like loud snore, and it was just him going, "Meow, meow, meow, meow." And I was like, okay, he quite clearly is having a good sleep.
there you go then. So he is getting that sleep,
Yeah.
and there will be days where he'll sleep more than others. And yes, if he is a bit more anxious on one day, he might get less.
So
But he's
that
making
doesn't
up for
sound
it.
like it's something that you'd be worried about, the fact that he's maybe not getting a full on snooze where he's dead to the world throughout the day. The thing is with him, he's not a hyper dog. He's so easy to look after. He will just lie and relax all day. So as much as he's maybe not in dreamland, he's definitely like this, like relaxing. Because right now, if I were to get up, for example, he probably would. No, he's not interested. Maybe
I
he'll
I
listen.
do understand, and think they call it cat naps, don't they? He's having those little cat naps, as it were, pup naps
Yeah.
throughout the day, and then he's getting that solid sleep at night. So as long as he's getting that sleep, he's not having any behavioural issues as a result of it. If
Okay,
he's
that's
fairly
good to hear.
chilled,
Because
then I wouldn't
yeah.
worry. In terms of the crate, if it's going to stress him out more, it's probably not worth it.
So it's gone now.
Um,
Yeah, I've got rid of it because I'm like, stop forcing things. I think I'm just trying to look for everything that I can do, and maybe I'm just trying to do too much. So I just packed up the crate and put it in the wardrobe, and I was like, we will see you never.
Yeah, or way in the future you could bring it
Yeah,
back and retrain him, and
yeah,
when he's much better around this.
yeah,
It's what you want things to look like, but there are so many dogs with separation anxiety that find that additional restrictive kind of space
yeah,
much more challenging and more stressful. So it's very, very common that when we have a dog with separation anxiety, as soon as we give them more space, they do much better. My dog actually had severe separation anxiety when we first got her. She tore carpets up and all sorts. Um, and it turned out that as soon as we got rid of a barrier, she was fine. Um, so it was more barrier, frustration and anxiety as opposed to complete separation. Because when we went out the house, turned out she was then fine. So it really does depend on the dog, but it's very common for those kind of small contained spaces to make it
yeah.
more challenging.
Mhm.
But today has been a real success. So remember that when you come to do it next time, that
Yeah,
you can do it, and you know what you're doing. But if you're ever kind of worried or any questions or anything, ask on the group. You've got my email. You're more than welcome to email me as well, and we'll help you wherever we can. So thank you so much for today. I really appreciate your time.
that's okay.
And I'll be submitting this to Julie very soon.
Fab.
So thank you very much. And obviously, as I said, get in touch if you need anything.
Okay,
So
thank you so much. I feel like I
brilliant.
needed that just to have a good session with him because I'm like, he can do it.
Yeah,
So I'm glad it
yeah,
went well. And
you
I'm glad it
can.
went well for you as well because I feel like that was a nice one to have as your last one, isn't it? So a nice wee chilled
Yeah,
one.
he's done amazing. So yeah, well done. Well done to both of you. So yeah, have a lovely evening and get
Will
in
do.
touch if you need anything.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.